here. How are you? I'm hoping that everything's going fine. I hope you've had a good week. Today is the 3rd of December 2017 for people in Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Talk properly, David. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. It is 12 neat. Middle of the day, so I've no idea what time it is. Well, I kind of have a bit of an idea what time it is around the world. In the UK, it's about midnight. In Europe, it's going to be closer to 1 to 2 o'clock in some of the places there. Norway, possibly the same. Faroe Islands would be around about the same, maybe 1 o'clock. And in the States, we'd be looking at anywhere between 4 o'clock to 8 in the evening, I think. Let me know if they're right or not. Saying hello to a few people here. Angela, how are you? Wayne Jones, good day. And from Socky down your way, is that Wayne? Of course it is. Had a lot of rain in Melbourne and Narrawarren. John Lafferty, morning. G'day, buddy. Graham Searle, good morning. And Ian Kerry, g'day, Dave. Just got to the pew in time. Well, I nearly said my son. Better not say things like that, had I? Now, it's been an easy kind of week, but I spent a lot of time doing the Veritas dowel making video, and I hope you enjoyed it. It's one of those things that someone said to me on the channel, Dave, I want to get this thing. I've got no idea how to use it. And as I say in the video, I've seen plenty of pictures of people just shoving the square section of stock in one side of the jig and it comes out round the other. But I didn't even know how to get started on it. So I got in touch with the people over at Veritas and they sent one over to me. And I spent possibly a day getting my head around the whole thing. But look, it's a great jig and I could have probably made the thing look absolutely perfect straight off. But that's not what I'm like. I like to show you as I'm going through it and learning the thing so that you get an honest report from me, because that's what it's all about. Because it'd be no good if you got a hold of the jig and you said, hold on, it worked perfectly for Dave. Why isn't it working for me? But it is a good jig. Give yourself a day or two with it and you will get that thing running absolutely beautifully. There's a couple of things in there. I should have tightened bolts up before I tightened the lock screws up, before I put the blades in, but you know, when you've seen the whole video, it will make sense. And I'm going to do some more interesting stuff with it during the show today. So that will be happening in around 20 minutes time. So if you want to hang around while I go through the other things, a bit of chat and also the viewers' projects and some pictures from them, by all means, come back in 20 minutes time. If you're not interested in that, if you are interested in seeing all that kind of stuff, by all means, hang around. It's all fun. Oh, this is something you might be interested in. John Lafferty now. John's sitting there in the wings. Look what he's made. This is I'll bring it up close so you can see it. This is a bench dog that he's made out of plastic on his 3D printer. And it's 20 millimeters and it goes in perfectly. And have a look at the end here. What do you think that does? Give me a second, I'll show you exactly what it does. I think it might be this one. This is what would you call it? A bolt with a nice big handle on it from Festool, same as the speed knobs that TSO products do, and it's an M8 thread. And he has printed, believe it or not, an M8 thread into the plastic. How amazing is that? So John is a bit of a whiz with his 3D printer. See, now if you'd nicked off early, you would never have seen all that. So there we go. He's also made some other things for me, and I'm going to show you a few other things as well when we get around to do some demo. And that's some packers. Now, what have we got here? I've had a message come in. Okay, well, there we go. There was a message from Steve, a bit of housekeeping there for me on some of the links. I'll fix all those after the show, Steve. All right, what have we got here? I'm going to have another quick say good day. Close that. Morning from Brian Shaw. Leroy Ready, morning all. Pommel 57. Hey, Dave, hope you're well. Sue from Florida. Wayne Jones, volume down a bit. You want me? I'm talking too loud, am I? How about I put the camera back a little? Is that okay? Doesn't look like the volume's going up too high. If the volume's too loud for everyone, just let me know, and I'll drop it down if I can. All right, where are we up to? Here we go. I'm going to flick over to this next picture, and this is in Dave Monet's office, or den, whatever you want to call it. He was watching the show last week, I think it was, and you'll notice that I put a post on Facebook, and it was a little bit embarrassing because he'd sent that photo to me at the beginning of the week, and things are rushing a little bit, and I think, oh, what am I doing? I haven't got time to download all the photos and get who it's from, so I actually missed it on that one. Give me a second here. Volume sound is good. Thanks, John. How do you like this on the side here? It's brilliant. Okay, I'll clear that one from there, and we should be good to do a little bit more reading. Stuart, good evening from Stu. An early Christmas present to me, a Capex installed, and I'm going to increase the size a little on this. There we go, now I can read it. In Asheville, an early Christmas present to me, a Capex installed, and my Hitachi now on the floor looking for a new home. Great saw with the Capex, sure is sweet. It is sweet. Dave M. Hello from Wisconsin. G'day, Dave. Mr. Humphreys, hey, Dave. Morning, everyone in. Volume is good here, Dave. Excellent. Graham Searle, audio is fine, my end. X-Connection, hey, from 20 kilometres north of Pardue, Western Australia. Wow. What's the weather like up there? Is it hot? Hot and wet? Wet and hot? You meant it was a bit soft. Okay, sorry about that, Wayne. Turn the hearing aid up, Wayne. I'll come a little bit closer to the camera, and hopefully it won't be too loud, and you'll be going, oh, turn it down, turn it down. Peter Lissette, morning kitties. Ian Humphreys, volume is fine here in Brisbane. Humidity is something else, so hasn't it been terrible? Giovanni Petiti, how are you? Next thing. Okay, so number one, Dave Monet, and then number two, I've got John Woodfine, I think here. There we go. This is, John was watching me demonstrate the TSO MTR18. Isn't that an amazing square? I love it. Next thing we've got here is number three. So I have to write all these things down. I don't know if you can see all that there, but that's my little run sheet. Number three is Forest Men's Lake shed opening. So this is the men's shed that we were talking about last week, that they had the plaque that was made and donated by Gregory Machinery, which was very generous of them. So they had their opening, and according to everyone up there, it went very, very well. And people asked me about the Men's Sheds Association last week, because I don't know if it's just Australia that has them. Are there any other countries that have men's sheds or similar organisations? I'd like to know. Wayne, cheeky young buck. Hey, Wayne, what was that? All right, the next thing, we'll slide back. There we go. I'll do that one again because I didn't quite. What was that, Wayne? Next thing, four. Bob from overseas in the States has made a Stanton bench. And how cool is this? This is the first one I've seen photos of. If you've got the plans and you've made one, please send me the photos, because it gives me a rush seeing these things. It's just so good. Here's another shot from the side. And hasn't he done a magic job on it? I'll read this little story from it. Hold on, it's Bob or Bill. God, sorry if I've got the name wrong. Dave, here's my Stanton's bench I made from your plans and watching your video. Keep up the great content. As I said, photos come in from all over the place, and putting the correct name to the photo is a little hard sometimes, and I mess it up. Next one is Fred. Okay, now Fred is a guy who just sent me this photo in, and he's had a bit of an accident. This is a saw bench that he's made up. I will read this from Fred. My name is Fred, and I've started woodworking more after a bad accident. really enjoy your direction and help love your Stanton bench. Another one. Here we go. Thank you very much. Next thing. See, isn't this easy? We're moving through. In 10 minutes' time, we'll be on to the demonstrations. 6 is Brandon Schaefer. Now, Brandon has made a swing chair. I'll find this. Here we go. Now, this is the swing chair that he's made. Whoop! Sorry about that, Brandon. Slide that back over to there. And I'll read a couple of things about it. No, I won't. He's just made the swing chair and he sent in some photos. Well, I reckon that's pretty good. Gee, I tell you what, my video control here is not too good this morning, is it? Last bit, someone who works full-time, men's shed opening hours are sometimes insufficient. I get that. Next one. Louis, and yes, I have something written here for Louis. Louis sent this through this morning. So this is his shop update. And what have we got here? Louis, finally, after a good while of some shop time again. Not much has happened, but I'm organising a bit and expanding the foam floor, preparing for refinishing all our living room furniture. And I'm going to make a butcher's block and a table out of some of the hardwood I recently got my hands on. And this is Louis' workshop. He's pretty good with the panorama. So he's put that picture up there. And what a nice setup. He's got a punching bag in there. When he gets frustrated, he goes out there and kicks it. Actually, he used to do martial arts, he was telling me, for a fair few years. So, not the person to cross. Wayne Jones, men's sheds can also be found in Scotland, England, Wales, Ireland, United States, Canada, Finland, New Zealand, and Greece. Thank you very much for that one. Next. Number 8 is Dave Monet again, but this is something different. He's moving home, so he was moving all his machines from his old workshop in the cellar, and he's got some helpers there, and he's moving them across over into his new shed. So there's some heavy machinery, and they've put plywood down on the grass, and you can see how cold it is. They've all got their beanies on, and they've been rolling. It's a mission, isn't it? They may as well be going to the South Pole. It's such a distance from one room to another, and finally they've got the guys over on the other side, and that's the jointer and the Powermatic table saw, and I'm not sure what type of thickness that is, but that's a massive space he's got. That's excellent. So thank you, Dave, for sending those in to us. And then the next one, I think that might be it. No, Keith Cullen. Now Keith is just lurks around in the background a little bit. You know, he does it. Sends me a thing in now and then. Send in some of those, a clamp and that little chamfer plane. I don't know if I've still got it. I don't know if it's here. Yeah, I've still got it. It's down on the back bench, but I use it for doing the edge of melamine. I might even show you that a little bit later on as well. It's brilliant. Okay, so Keith, where are you? There it is. So we'll run Keith's, and I'll have a bit of a story on Keith's as well. Odds and sods, he said, yesterday I gave my Carbotech 6-inch bench jointer to the local men's shed. My new Laguna Helical 6-inch jointer is a great machine. Dave, so there's a few pictures here, so they're going to run through faster than what I'm talking about. Number 1 is copied your design for holding the cantilevered end of the saw bench fence. It's a great improvement. Photo number 2, the Seneca dummy plate in action. I find it easier to use the DF500 with dummy plate instead of its normal position, as the center of the gravity of the tool is moved below the timber being routed. Timber is 13 millimeters thick. This is a finished sushi board. There are 2 4mm dominoes in each joint, which is pretty cool. And then the next one, well, number 4, is I turned my construction miter saw from joinery. Blade is a quality 96 tooth by 305mm diameter. I cut a lot of short length timber between 100 and 300mm, and the jig with the Inca tool ensures repeatability. Cutting angle of 90 is rarely moved. Same jig, but an end view, as this photo is showing at the moment. And then what's the next one? Photo 6, top cut. Oh, sorry, to cut medium length timber to length, this jig is used. A clamped on stop block sets the correct cutting length. Brilliant. Okay, now I'm going to have a look down here at all the pictures that I've got there, and that is everyone covered. I'll have a quick look at the chat, and then we'll get into the demo on this Veritas Dowel maker. Now, I've had a few people say, where the hell can I get the Dowel maker from? And I get that. I've got the codes off the catalog, not the catalog, the instructions. So you see down the bottom there, that's the code. That's the code for the Dowel maker itself. And I've also put the code for the insert set. They come as two different separate items. Now, my suggestion is, until I get some proper links for them, that you go in and have a look at, flick an email to Veritas Tools and tell them the code and ask them if they've got them on their website. I couldn't find them on the website. As I said, the only way I found out about this Dowel maker was one of the subscribers said he had seen it, and could I go through it and show people how to do it. Okay, next one. Terry Joel, hello from Toronto. James Lockery, hi from Scotland. Vicky's Restoration, say Dave just popped in to say hello. Piotr Senereki, I hope that's the way you pronounce your name. Hi from Poland. All right, I think we will check the run sheet. Yes, we will. And before I do that, same as I say every week, if you can help the channel along, that's great. Use the links if you can, and that's about it. Thanks for the support. Turn this camera around this way. Before I do, I shall click this button here because I think there's another message for me. All good, all good. All good. Turn that one down there like so, and move it out of the way. Now, I've had a couple of ideas. I'm turning this camera around this way so we can see what's going to happen with that jig. I come around in front of it. Cram, hello Dave, enjoyed your last video on the Dowel maker. Hope you and your family are well. Rainy today in Oregon, did some shop time today. Excellent, excellent. All right, this is the Dowel maker. Now you can see that's the front where you put the piece of timber in. On the back is where it comes out. Now there's bushes you put in the back here to stabilize the timber and also to help you center the thing after it's come through here to there, so that if you're putting the timber up at an angle, it's going to encourage you to lift it up straight. So it's going to help you guide it in. It's very, very basic. And I've been using it on the bench here. Oh, here we go. These are the things that John made as well. These are a sleeve that go over the riser legs for the bench dogs. And in my 20mm bench, they are a whole lot better than if they didn't have it on. Not super tight, but enough to be able to slide it on. So John's a wizard with this 3D printer. He's having a ball with it. Every now and then I get a little parcel. I'll show you the last one that came off. But some of them have fallen out already. But he sends me these things up, and I think it's so generous of him. So these are the different coloured bench dogs, and they can go in. I'll show you how good they are. They're a good fit. How good is that? That's pretty basic. There's very little wobble on that, and also he does have the threads cut in the bottom. Now he's also machined some, he's also printed some with a 5/16 thread. Amazing. I'll put them up the front there. They can go on either way. I think there's a little bit of residue on the top there. I might give that a little sand, but the other end seems fine. Look at that. There we go. You can see them up the front or not? Probably not. Here I've been going on how good they are, and you can't see it. I'm going to tip that camera down a little. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it there. I will put them over on the side here, John. People will be able to see what you do. If I put it there, how's that? And another one there. All good? Now, dowel jig, or the dowel maker, whatever you want to call it, I put in on the T-track. I slide these little bolts on. I don't want knobs coming up too far to get in the way, and also they tend to foul on the side here, so I've got some bolts and a small socket drive that I pop it in with. These are nylock nuts. Not going anywhere. Ain't going anywhere. That's one of the guys from Switzerland. John used to say that about me all the time. He said, it ain't going anywhere. He used to have a bit of a giggle about it. I haven't seen John on the show for a while. Is the volume okay, guys? Lee Valley sell it. Okay, there you go. So if you want to get the Veritas dowel maker, Lee Valley sell it. Go into Lee Valley. I'll put a link in there a little bit later on. Thank you very much for that, Graham. See, it's community. How good is this? Now, at the moment, I think I've got the set. I've set the jig for 1 inch, or maybe it's even 5/8. So what I'm going to do is change things around a little bit. I'm going to try a couple of experiments. This is always fun. Some of the gear there. First thing I'm going to do is take the blades out, and it's very easy. You release the lock nut, and also you release the lock screw. They're on the back here. You're not going to be able to see this terribly much, but should be fine. Now we zero the blades first, and it's just a matter of turning it around like so, and you can feel it starting to push the blade away. I'll take the blade out. Very, very sharp. Don't go mucking around with it. And someone asked me what the angle is. So how about we do that right now? I'll find out what the angle is. I'll get the brass angle checker. Oh, I did not set this one up in the other drawer. There it is. Found it. Don't panic, everyone. Here we are. This is a little brass checker that I use. Well, volume's good. Shiro, I know nothing about this, but enjoy watching. Okay, good on you, Shiro. Ian, volume's good. Welsh Rabbit, hi Dave. The dowel maker is in the Lee Valley Veritas online fine woodworking catalogue. Ain't cheap, but it looks extremely well machined. I'm telling Santa I want one in my Christmas stocking. Let's check what the angle is. I'll tell you straight away, guys, it is around 30 degrees, just under. I would say it's around 28 degrees. That one. I don't know what the other one is. It's probably the same, but it'd be around 28 degrees. Now I'm going to try a couple of different species of timber. So I'm going to try some hardwood. I think I've got some walnut there as well that I'm going to try in it. And I've got this box of pieces of timber. Now someone that I work with was moving house, and they had all these timber, and said, Dave, do you want it? I'm just going to throw it in the bin if I don't. There's a piece of walnut. How nice is that? How about sharpening the blades? Well, I could sharpen the blades, but 28 degrees, I would do that by hand, John. I would use the stone, and I would just use a hand method for sharpening it. I think they're a little bit short to put into a Veritas Mark II honing gauge or honing guide. So a couple of weeks ago I did a video on how to do that. Now also, if you're wanting to have a look at previous live streams that I've done, like the show, I don't leave the show on this channel for long. I leave it here for about a week, maybe 2 weeks at the most. I do that because I find that it clutters the channel if I leave them here. So I've moved them to a separate channel that is totally the live streams. And I'll put a link in the description box below at the end of the show so you can see where all the other streams are kept if you want to. All right, so I've taken it out and I'm going to put a smaller insert in. Now what I said was I'm going to try something a little bit interesting here. I'm going to run one of these test pieces that I've gone to make it a smaller dowel again, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm curious. So I need to have a look on the side of, first of all, I've got to find an insert that's it'll fit into. Now these are the insert tubes. They're made out of aluminium, and that goes into there quite well. So we will go with a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to make a 1/2 inch dowel. Yesterday I did a 5/8 and a 1 inch. So I need the 1/2 inch insert, which is here. I keep walking off camera, but don't worry. Now, to do this, before I put the tube in, before I put the insert tube in, I can't put it in there with the blades in there. So we have to zero the blade mount to start. Okay? So if I've got it zeroed, which I've done now, then on the side here I can read what it says. So for 1/2 inch, it tells me my front blade's elevation is 4 rotations of this. So I'm going to turn this knob here 4 times, 4 full rotations. Now, for each knob, the knob also has, I should say, 10 indications right the way around. So I can go 4.1, 4.2, as the scale tells me on the side here. So it's not tenths of a millimeter. It's well, it might be, but I don't think it is. So I'm going to go in 4 rotations to start. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to lock it. When I've got it to 4, I'm going to lock it tight. Okay. So you can see that blade position now is set. After I put the tube in, then I can bring the blade in over it, because you can't have the blade in first because the tube won't go past it. So you put it in and then you slide that over the top. Now I'm going to do the back blade. Have to undo it first. I love these things. Something that's a little bit different and quirky, that really gets my interest straight away. I think, wow, how nice are these? So there's the lock screw comes out. Now the lock screw on the rear blade, because it's a rear blade from me, from the person using it, is there. The front blade is closer to me. I'm going to turn this, and as I turn it, it's pushing the blade out. See that pushing the blade away? So I'm going to take it back until it touches the body of the jig, and where it is now, and then I can remove the blade totally. Now the rear blade elevation for a 1/2 inch is 2.6 rotations. So I'm going to turn 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it steady by the knurled handle, and then tighten like so. How cool is this? Now, 1/2 inch. This is the 1/2 inch bush. See that guy there? And it's got a very, very big taper. And there's an indent on the side. You won't be able to see that. Okay, my question is, how often do you sharpen it, and how do you sharpen, do you know? I haven't sharpened the things because I haven't had it a long time. So my answer is, as I said on my response to you on YouTube as well, was I will use the oil stone. You could probably use water stones or diamond stones, however you want. I think it would be a situation where you do it by hand. And it's around 28, 29 degrees. And that's how I would do it. If you've got a jig that can set things up for you the exact size, by all means use it. But as I say, I don't know if the Mark II would hold it. You may have to put it in some kind of a cradle to hold it, to put it into the Mark II. I'm happy enough to sharpen these by hand. All you do is you release the capture bolt and the mount and take the blade out. I'm going to pop this in the front here. Undo that Allen key ever so slightly. Done. Tighten that up. As I say, that's a guide to hold it in position. We've moved that out already. I can now put the front blade in position, and as I was saying as well, rotate it. Now we've got to put the tube in first. There we go. In goes the tube. And you have to keep it so that it's not sitting up above where the blade's going to come in. Otherwise, the blade won't be able to travel in there to be in position. Tighten up the other grub screw around the back here. And there's a flat in the back of these things as well. I don't know if you can see it on that one. You may be able to. See that little flat just there? That's what the screw bottoms onto. Some people call these a set screw. In Australia, I've always called them a grub screw. Okay, now the insert's in, and we shall put the front blade in. God, this is cool. I love it. It is so well machined. The front lock screw. I had a question as well. Oh, you never use the dust extraction on it in the demonstration. You know what? I didn't on purpose because it gave me such a buzz watching all of this pour out there onto the bench. And it has made a bit of a mess down here. I'll clean it up. But it's like me watching the dust go up the dust line. It just gives me... I'm weird. I like watching that kind of stuff. The rear blade. And that's sitting in perfectly. In goes the lock screw. And sometimes you might feel that, you know, it's not... the threads aren't meshing correctly. Well, you just have to wiggle it around a little bit and then it will find it and away it goes. Tighten that. Okay, so the blades are pushing back against the body. And it was this piece of timber here I was going to put in. And that looks like it'll work. Which drive socket do I need? I think it is that one there. And this for the drill. Where is my drill? David, where did you put it? Put it here. All right. Pretty cool. Can I have a quick read? Where are we? Philippe, what tips can you give me? Philippe, I'm not sure. That's a pretty broad question. Just keep watching the show. You'll pick up tips as we go along. You say Lee Valley sells it. Writing from New Jersey, USA. That's P. Borelli. Pommit's, welcome, Philippe. You'll find that in your company, good company here, Barry. Dave is a library of information. Yep. 40 degrees Fahrenheit is up there. Okay, so far not good. Okay, Dave, why don't they make the blade guide the same size as the blade so you don't have to rotate the corner of the blade against the jig? Dave, I think that's because there's a lot of sawdust comes out of this, and it's not just dust that's easy to move around. It's kind of chips, like a shaving out of a pencil sharpener. And I think that could clag it up easily, and you may not be able to get it back in and slide it out properly if that got in the way and wedged it in position. Now, I didn't make the thing, so I'm only doing my suggestion as to why they've done that. Where are we now? Yeah, good on you, Rian. Ask the questions. What are you making? Because it's a very broad question. Here we go. You ready, guys? This is the exciting part. How many people we got watching now? I got no idea how many people are in. And you got plenty of thumbs up yet or not? Maybe there'll be a few thumbs up after I put this through. Earmuffs. There we go. Safety. It's a large chip, so there's no real dust happening. This is just pencil shavings. But doesn't it come out quick? You ready? That's insane. I love it. Look at that. 1/2-inch dowel. This section, up the top here, this is the rough cutter. So this is the 1/2-inch dowel section there. And as I say, that's the kind of shavings that it's coming out of it. There's no dust there. I get the calipers. Yeah, good idea. Bit of coffee. What have we got here? Zero it, and I'm in fractions. Can you see it? I'm sure you can. 1/2 inch. Straight off. How accurate is that? I love it. I love it. Now let's see if we can put some harder timber through. So it's fine for pine, but I'm going to see if I can find something that's going to fit in there. What have we got over here? How about I put a larger piece in and we'll run those through. Is this going to be too small? It might be too small. Let's give it a shot. I don't know what type of timber this is, but we'll put it in the 5/8 drive and see if it fits in there. I'm winging it here at the moment, guys. I'm just having some fun. I'm playing. So if you want to hang around and watch Dave play in the shed with his new toy, by all means. 73 and 80/27 thumbs up. That's no good. Come on, punch it up a little bit. A bit slow there, John. Hi, Dave. Here, I have to wait till summer to do woodworking. That makes sense. Need clearance for shavings and such. I thought so. How about hardwood? Well, that's what we're going to try. This is hardwood. These two here are hardwood, and we're going to put them through after I've tried this little guy. See what happens. I don't know what size this is. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. If I go that like that. I could make a Harry Potter wand. Vicky saw this. She said, "That's amazing how you got the square section on the end." She said, "I never knew how they did that." I said, "Well, baby, that's the part you cut off and throw away." But that's amazing. I love it. All right, let's go for some hardwood, and we will measure this. See what size this is, because they tell you what size. That's 57/64, which is close to 7/8. 7/8 stock. I'll have a look in here, and it tells me what size timber. I put it in the video, so there's a page in here that tells you the dimensions. See on the second page, just here, it tells you all the dimensions. So 7/8 stock will do 11/16 and 3/4 inch dowel. All right, 3/4 inch dowel. And what's this one? This is another piece. That's 13/16. So let's go. Let's do some 11/16 dowel in hardwood, which means we set it up again. Have some fun. Put that one back there. This one over here. 11/16. Alrighty. Look at this. Release these guys, so I can take the blades out. Must take the blades out prior to pulling the insert tube out, the reduction tube. All right, pull the tube out. Oh, need the Allen key. That's the only problem about the dust here, is I'm going to lose the Allen key. It's very, very small. How nice are they? 11/16. Which means I'll need to use the 3/4 and the 11/16. Okay, so I'm going to use the 3/4 inch tube and the 11/16 guide bush. So the 11/16 guide bush is going to go in the outside, and the 11/16 will be here. Now I could zero the blades back again, but I know how many rotations they've come out already from doing the 1/2 inch. So I'm going to add or subtract from what that was. And hopefully it's going to work. Hopefully it'll work. Do you ever do something and you think, Yeah, that might work. That might work. But ends up. And you think to yourself, why in the heck didn't I just go back to starting from 0 again? All right. Now that was 1/2 inch, and we're going to 11/16. So it's convenient too. They've got the bush number on the front, the measurement of the bush. It'd be nice if they did one in metric, but I'm going to try and I'll cheat one in 20 millimeters as well. I'll show you how to do that. Now 11/16. They're not going to tell me the size. Okay, so it's kind of a halfway between. So 3/4 to there is halfway to this, so it'll be 7. And half of that is 13, 7. So it's 0.7 of a turn here, more, and 1/2 inch to there is, sorry, I've got to come out. Oh, it's 2 steps. I'm 1/2 inch to 3/4, so I've got to go 4. I've got to go 7 on the front, which is another 3 turns here. I'm going to think it should have been left alone, and I should have gone all the way back, but I'm going to go 3. 1, 2, 3. That should be right there. Fingers crossed. Okay, and then the front one. We'll unlock it. Oh, here's a trick. Here's a trick. On 1/2 inch, it was 2.6. I'm going to undo at 2.6. Just in case I got crappy maths. There we go. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to actually put the blade in and make sure it's bottomed. There we go. It was perfect. That was good. All right, now I can do the rotations. See, the 11/16 one is going to be halfway between the 5/8 and the 3/4. So I have to do the maths. So it's 3.8 to 5.1. If I'm going halfway, let's say that's 6. So I'll go 4.4, 4.5. Let's try 4.5, see if it works. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Now, if you go too large, what's going to happen? The diameter of the dowel will be too large to come out of the bush here. So I'd rather it was slightly narrower than tighter, and then adjust it up after measuring it with the calipers. Now we're using, which bush are we using? We're using the 3/4, setting the height there. Isn't this fun? People say, what did you do today? Made some dowel. And I say, well, can't you go to the shops and buy dowel? Like for about $5 a stick or something like that. No, I want to spend $800 on a jig and make my own. And I'll maybe make 3 of them. And it'll sit in the cupboard for the rest of my life. But how often have you done that? It's crazy. All right, here we go. Put the front one in. Oh, dear. Dear, dear, dear. But it's half the fun. I just love to have the toys. Okay. You could make wagon wheel spokes, yes. Okay. Man, it's crazy. Yeah, looks like a tiny table leg. It's crazy. New drumsticks, yes. Right, I like the small decorative stuff like bird feeders, desk organisers, all with exotic woods. Ian, expensive spoke shape. It is indeed, Graham. David's like a kid in a candy shop with his new toy. You're not wrong, Graham. Peter Borelli, I don't wish I could afford this jig. It looks cool. As I said, it's one of those things. It's fun. It is fun. You could make wagon wheel spokes, of course you could. Have to run, see it around. Sunny days. This is similar to the old standing setup. I do not know. Dave talking about the time right now. I've got 7:41 p.m. USA. What time is there? About, okay, the time here at the moment is 11:45 in the morning on Sunday. John, inch fractions make more sense than decimal millimeters. Never. No, exactly. All right. I've got the front blade in. Let's put the back blade in. And here's an aside. How easy. I'm giving this bench a rap because I love it. I've got the vise down here, which is working brilliantly. I don't know if you can see that. Yep. This is a drill press vise. And all I've done is mount it to the T-track. I can take it off, pop it back on. This is my 6-inch bench clamp from Craig. And let's put that on. I'll turn that on. I'll put the dust extractor on. No, wait, before I do the dust extractor, I will cut a bit more timber with the bandsaw because I've got a small piece I want to put through before I put it through here. Okay, I think I'm all set for 3/4, and this is hardwood. That didn't take too long, did it, guys? Earmuffs and the right size socket. Is that the right one? Yes, it is. Move this so I don't lose it. And the piece of timber. I'll go the smaller one to start. Okay. The stock is a little bit small, but still doing a good job. Look at that. Put my hand against it so you can see it. It's doing a great job, and it should be 11/16. Let's see what it says. I need to recalibrate. .43/64. Is that close to 11/16? There. Well, just as I was bumping it, it went to 11/16. Now that wasn't bad for a guess. Remember, as I say, you have to guess between and just do a fine tune. I'm going to put the large one in. As I say, these are hardwoods. Man. I think that's walnut. Now, if I wanted to do some fancy things, if I wanted to make a really fancy bench, I could use these for nails instead of nails. I could put it together with these beautiful dowels that are made out of any type of timber that I want. So that is an Australian hardwood. This looks like it might be a little bit of mountain ash. Very, very, very nice. And walnut, and whatever that other guy was, and some pine. There you go. They don't look too bad at all. Right. I was going to cut some timber over there on the bandsaw. I still will. I still will. Much nicer finish than the old Stanley Dowel maker. Okay, Sonny, also as well, no hand cranking. The Harry Potter font by Dave last week. The Veritas coming out of Canada. Is it really a metric tool with Imperial cheat sheet? Does it come with metric cheat sheet? It even has 10 index turn. Imperial made machine would have 8. I agree. I think they have made it for the American market. Jeffco, good morning, Dave. After watching your vids, I went shopping yesterday and bought a few Festool tools. Wow, dust extraction. Woodworking masterclass. Hey, Dave, thought I'd drop in on you. Cheers, Steve. Steve, g'day, buddy. How are you? I'm running the Veritas dowel jig at the moment, and I'm having some fun with it. I've just run a piece of walnut through it. and also a piece of an Australian eucalypt. I'm pretty sure that's probably a bit of mountain ash. And another piece of timber, that was the 1/2 inch dowel we did. These were 13/16. And I did 1 inch yesterday, and 3/4 as well. It's good fun. Now, let's do the dust extraction. I'll do it right now. Take that off there. I was going to cut another piece, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do another video soon on how to put a branch into your dust line, because I really do need another branch above this bench. It's been bugging me, but anyway, that's life. And here it is. I will turn the dusty on. Give me a sec. Make sure I've got all the lines open. Where I want it to go to. Yes, yes, yes. Well, it's done. Sorry for ducking off camera. Start the dusty up. There's not a lot of pull there. I think I've got another port open somewhere. Yeah, there's got to be another port open somewhere. Ah, there it is. That's going to be stronger. Pop this up here on the bench clamp with a 6-inch clamp on it. Good thing about these is you can adjust them. You probably can't hear a word I'm saying. Turn that off. As I was just saying there before I was rudely interrupted by the dust extractor, the good thing about these things is you can adjust the tension down here. Now, you've heard me talk about these new bench clamps instead of the old bench clamps. I preferred the old ones until recently. Then I realized that you have to open it all the way up. I put a bit of graphite powder in there. You can put some silicone spray in if you want, and then get it to actually move down the shaft backwards and forwards a few times, and then it'll free it up and it starts working fine. It's just the initial time when I used it. The other one was a different mechanism, and it worked very, very well. So it holds onto the plastic quite well. There's enough room there for me to get around the side, and I'm going to put a piece of timber with a knot in it. No, I'm not, because that's too big. I'm going to put another piece that we've been working on yesterday. Which drive is that? Is it that drive? Yep, beautiful. Whoop. All right, here we go. You ready, guys? Turn that on. Going everywhere. Once it got past that initial point, I think it's because, as I mentioned in the video, the first part, before it gets up to that bush there, I'll move that out of the way. Before it gets up to that bush, it's as though it's it'll correct your angle as you're approaching the rear section there. Once you're in that bush, it takes a couple of seconds or maybe an inch or two, and then it's got it guided correctly, and then it went through beautifully. You notice at the beginning it struggled a little bit, and as I was taking it out of the jig, that area there was slightly larger because it wasn't approaching that second cutter, the rear cutter, horizontal. It was slightly down. So it's something to watch out for, because it will, if the tolerances are set tight, it will jam. Let me see what we've got there. Again, 43/64, which It's got to be so close to 11/16, hasn't it? Depends on where you put it as it was coming through. Again, a little bit of fine tuning. I can adjust this cutter here and get it absolutely spot on. But they do suggest you put the square stuff in. I don't know why you'd want to turn a dowel into a smaller dowel, unless you absolutely needed to. But if you haven't got a lathe, and you don't have any idea how to use the lathe, and if you only wanted to use the lathe to make dowels, because that's all I've always do with mine, this might be a better option for you. But anyway, I'm not pushing the product. As I say, the only reason I did the review on it is because I had someone wanted to get it, and they hadn't seen anything that was going to help them out at all. All they saw was someone shoving in one side, dragging out the other, and that was that. Let me have a quick read here. Love your show, Steve. Yeah, everyone loves Steve's show. He's a talent, all right. You wish your shed was as tidy as mine. Steve. I had someone say to me the other day, hey, Dave, do you actually wear any pants while you're on the show? We never see you from the waist down. And I said, no, I'm like a news presenter. I'm just sitting here in my undies. No, of course I'm wearing pants, you idiots. Ta-da, there you did it. Ian, looking like a lot of tools in my shop, overcapitalised and underproductive, but still good fun. Exactly right. How many of us suffer from that? Ian, Eason, not available metric, designed to make standard dowel sizes in 1/16. I said I was going to try and do 20 mil. All right, if you've got time, I'm going to do a 20 mil dowel with it, and I'm going to do it until I finish. So hang around if you want to. Otherwise, see you later. But I'm going to just leave the camera run, and I will produce a 20 millimeter dowel. I'm going to work off their chart. Now, 20 millimeters, sorry, 3/4 of an inch is just over 19.09 or something like that. So I need to work down their chart and look for the 3/4 section, 7/8. So I need to go to the 1 inch square stock and use a 13/16 cutter. Okay, let me see what we've got. I have got some 1 inch stock. I made a bit the other day, so that's inch, or is that 1 1/8? That might be 1 1/8. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I think we'll be able to do it. If not, I'll just nip it down on the saw. Okay, so we need to set for just over 3/4 inch. We need to go 8 rotations. So I'm going to go out 8.5 rotations that way. So this is how we're going to do it. Take that one out. Take the front one out. Or the back one. Front to you, back to me. Slide down here. Right up top, can you recommend oil for finishing blackwood dining tabletop? So Steve, my shop looks like a mess now. Steve, answer this guy's question about oiling a blackwood tabletop. I'm not into finishes. Steve has been into the joinery section of life a whole lot longer than me. I came from construction. Steve has always been in doing the nice stuff. We'll take this guide out. Take the tube out. There we go. And which tube do I need for it? If we're going 3/4, slightly bigger than 3/4, goes 7/8 for the tube. Is the one we'll be using. Move those guys over there so I don't get confused. The exit, we're going to be using the exit bush. Pardon me. What'd they say? 13/16. Yep. I'll check the internal diameter of that. Go to metric. 20.87 is the external diameter of that one. Sorry, the internal diameter. There we go. Steve, have you got a dowel making jig? Not that everyone needs one. I'll tell you what. After I got it, this is fun. Why would you want to be stuck in front of a computer when you could be playing around with something like this in the shed. Okay, so that's the rear one 0. The front one will 0 out as well. Nearly 12, but that's all right, as I say. I'll just keep on going. Okay, Pete, and then you have it working for 20 mil, etc. Then you can make your own table for metric. Don't forget to write the numbers down. That's a challenge, isn't it? So that's one 0 now as well. And the length out, what did I say? We're going to go, let's go 8.5. Let's see how we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. Tighten that up. Done. Front one. Oh, sorry, the rear one. We're going to go let's go 5.6. 5.6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.6. Now this is just a guess. I think it's going to be very, very close. It's one of those things, you know, when you own a car, you know how it works. You get into someone else's car and it responds differently to you. I think it's the same with this. You get to know the tool, and eventually you'll know it backwards, and you'll say, yeah, that'll be 3.7 rotations on such and such. And people will just say, you got no life. You go out to a dinner party and they'll say, oh, Dave, what's the state of, what do you think of the politics at the moment? And you'll say, well, it's, did you know that I need to go 3.2 rotations to get this Dowel jig to work? And I look at you in bewilderment. And that's how I look at people when they start talking politics to me. You know, I'm not interested. I've had a message from John. Okay, so there's a question from Steve. So it's made, I don't know if Veritas actually make this or whether it's made by Lee Valley Tools. So if you jump onto Lee Valley's site, you'll probably get the answer. All right, let's give that a try. I think it's going to be okay. Should I have put a reducing? Yes, I should have. I wasn't focused. I should have put the tube in first. Don't text me. Everything's set. This is I did that on purpose so you guys can experience what's happened here. No one pulled me up on it. Oh dear, cedar and cypress dowels, and then use the shaving stick to get the bugs out of the closet. So why not? Why not? Okay, we're going to slide the 3/4 inch tube in. Then I can put the rear cutter in. Tipping it again, the bottom towards the body of the jig. Tighten that up. And you do have to tighten the things up fairly substantially. The reason being, as the timber's going through, especially at the beginning, where the square section does bounce around a bit and it sends a bit of vibration through everything. Locked. All right, let's give that a try. Which bush have we got to drive it with? That one. Let's see what happens. I'm going to measure it. 0 millimeters. Let's get it better than that. 19.81. I want it slightly larger, so I'm going to 19.81. I don't know how many that is in 1/100th of an inch is how many millimeters. So I'm 0.13 of a millimeter. So let's say that'll be, I'll go 2 turns. I'm going to send the blade away from the cylinder by 2 turns, by two indications, not 2 full turns. So I'm on 6 at the moment. I'm going to go to the line on 8 and lock it. Let's see how that goes. Whoop, I haven't locked it. Why not? I haven't locked the back one. See, that's a trick as well. Make sure you get them all tightened. Not just the lock nut, the lock screw has also got to be done. What do we got there? .2. Back. I'm going to back it up 1 flat, and we should get it. So I'm on the line. I'm on 8 at the moment. Come on. Let's come back 1 flat, and that's on 7. Tighten the lock nut up. It's bouncing around on the back here as well, and I think that is because the stock is not the right size. It can make a difference. I've only got a little bit left here, so let's see if we get it right this time. See how it's bouncing around there? Let's see what we've got. .75 there. 20 point. Well, we go back to 0. It was 0.1 out. Come back. Pull it off. Pull out. See what it is down here. There you go, guys. I don't think we're going to get much better than that. So the settings, I'm going to keep it a secret. You do it yourself. Have some fun. Make your own stuff. Okay, guys, I think that's going to be about it. Thanks again for watching. Keep coming back. I try and get a new video out every week if I can. Sometimes life just gets in the way and I can't do it. If you like the show, subscribe to the channel. Keep on coming. Tell your friends. Click the little bell down in the corner there because it will let you know when I do a new video and it's been released. Make sure you check out Woodworking Masterclass with Steve Hay. He's a talent, another Australian guy who, who would never have thought that he'd make an impact on the world stage. Keep on coming back, as I say, and I shall see you next time. Bye.